You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vampire Diaries After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vampire Diaries After Show.
Yo, what up, AFTERBUZZ? It's Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for the Vampire Diaries. Pictures of You, Season 4, Episode 19.
Woo!
It's your boy, DJ Jesse Janedy, joined in studio by the one, the only, the lovely Kristen Snyder.
Hi, guys. What's up?
Hey.
Finally, we get a Matt and Bonnie episode. Finally.
Finally, Bonnie's back. Matt's
both-
here. I mean, we got love romances that we wanted. I was happy with Rebekah's whole storyline.
Me too. I love that storyline. This was a fantastic episode for Vampire Diaries.
It was, and one reason is for sure, I feel like we get one of these episodes every 7 episodes.
Yeah. Scheduled
And-
around an event. Is that what you're
An
gonna say?
event, but then there's so many stories that's you feel fulfilled at the end of the episode, even though they left us with, a couple loose strings. You feel fulfilled, but at the same time, the show doesn't seem to go so fast. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every time I kept doing oh, they're going to end it now. Oh, wow, we got 20 more minutes left.
The pacing was really well, and
Yeah.
it was so suspenseful. That's what you said. Every time there was a commercial break, it was this could be the end of the episode. It was.
I was very thankful that we were
climax after
coming back.
climax. Yeah, I enjoy that.
So it's prom.
Yes.
Damon and Stefan, they want to turn Elena's emotions back on, obviously.
With force. What I want to know is, why is it just Damon and Stefan that is still the only ones who want to do this? I mean, Caroline's just kind of worried about prom, and Tyler and Bonnie is just trying to get her magic under control, but it's they're not really there for Elena right now. It's just her 2 boyfriends.
I think it's, just at a point where Elena is so dangerous.
That's a good point.
And everyone else kind of has other big things going on, like Bonnie's seeing people.
She's on fire.
Caroline's
big deal.
planning the prom.
Obviously,
and going,
a big deal.
going through her things with Klaus, Tyler. So, not that I don't think everyone's there to help. If that was the case, I think it's just Damon and Stefan kind of spearheading it.
Good point.
So, very interesting. They go to prom. Elena stole the dress from poor Caroline.
Elena even goes as far as saying, I thought I'd do it a favor.
Yeah.
Wow. She's so cold-hearted.
It was so awkward to see Elena and Rebekah walk into that moment with Bonnie and Caroline.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
Apparently, Elena's staying with Rebekah because no one else can stand her, and now it's pretty obvious after watching this episode why no one else can stand her. I couldn't stand her. I was like, I've known girls like this in my life, and I've done everything to avoid them, if not try to torture them a little bit back, maybe.
There you go. Which I think at the end of the episode is what they figured out they need to do, is just kind of give you a taste of your own medicine.
Exactly. Drown in pain and torture. Her 2 boyfriends drug her, and now they're going to torture her. I like these guys.
Yeah.
Good boyfriends.
So Damon and Stefan are Elena's prom dates. Caroline has you walk through the woods and see these pictures of
Pictures of
life.
You by The Cure. Love the music. This episode was so great.
It was, actually. Every song kind of had a moment.
Yes.
And I really liked that.
And it dealt exactly with the situation that was at hand. It was perfectly placed.
So there you go with that Pictures of You song.
Did you feel like when Elena was looking at those pictures of Jeremy for a second, did you feel like it got to her?
Yeah, and my thing about the whole turning off her emotions, I feel like they're turned off because of one strong emotion, which is fear. Like we learn at the end of it, she's scared. So when she's sitting there, perfect music, as she's sitting there looking at the pictures, it's kind of like, this is why my emotions are turned off. I feel like she's always reminding herself and fighting so hard. No, my emotions are turned off, remember? My emotions. It's like that thing people do to use as an excuse.
Yes.
I feel like that's her excuse. I need to keep my emotions off because, you know, I don't want to cry about Jeremy right now. That's stupid. I don't want to cry about it.
It's so disrespectful. And one of the worst things she said to Rebekah is Rebekah's like, oh, well, all your enemies would be coming back if, you know, we do this. And she's like, if Silas gets secure. And she's like, that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is Jeremy and Alaric coming back. All I need is 2 more people trying to fight for my humanity to come back. And I was just like, wow.
Like, you're really fighting really hard not to get your humanity back.
Yeah, and she wouldn't want Alaric and her brother to be back. It's ridiculous that she would say it that way.
Almost kind of makes me feel like which Elena is stronger, because the regular Elena, as annoying as she can be, she's always there. She faces a challenge. She is willing to throw herself in it. And, you know, I see a little bit with this Elena too, but I really think this Elena is running off of fear. It reminds me of Catherine in a sense. You're always running, but you're this bad bitch. And I just feel like with Elena right now, that's where her mentality is, because why are you even thinking about Jeremy coming and doing that? If you didn't care, you wouldn't even be thinking about that.
That's a great point. And you know what? I feel like a lot of people do this in their life. You kind of get sick of being weak and that person that's vulnerable. And so you're like, you know what? I'm turning it off and I'm going to be strong and I'm going to not care. And I feel like there has been times in my life where I was able to do that and to try to like love again and be open and vulnerable and weak. You kind of do have to manufacture the idea for yourself that you wanted it again. And I feel like Elena just simply doesn't want that right now. She was sort of annoyed with how we were annoyed with her old self of being weak. And she's probably tired of tackling all those obstacles because it was one after the another.
I agree with that 100%. And it's great that this is a, you know, part of the story, because I think it does. It reminds me of Buffy in the sense of every episode kind of helps you out in life. It teaches you, you can kind of relate to it to your own life. And when you look at the flip side, because yes, that is something that we all go through, and you know, we are selfish at times, and when you look at the flip side and you look at someone like Bonnie, who I feel at the end got to a point of just like, you know what, how dare you, like, look at what I've gone through.
Right.
You know, you don't think I want to turn my emotions off? No, like I want to. Now you want to feel what pain really feels like? I'm going to make you feel this.
I loved that.
And yeah, I think it was just showing, like, yes, there are times where you can shut your emotions off, because obviously Bonnie had to shut her emotions off to use the power to choke up Elena.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to have the other, it's yin and yang. You have to have the other half to know when, okay, I'm doing the most right now. I'm doing too much and I need to back up. And I just hope that that's what Elena is going to get out of this situation.
It's hard because I can see how Elena just kind of wants a vacation from all of it.
Yeah.
She really does. And I saw how Bonnie was literally pulling the tears and pain out of Elena. But it did make her, the old Elena, for a moment, actually asking for help, which she would never do at her current state. So
well, and it's also funny because, and hopefully she thinks about it deeper in the sense of, no matter what you do, I can always make you feel. You will always feel emotion. You're making yourself think you don't feel it, but you really do feel it.
You really do.
And I'm going to show you physically that you really can feel pain.
I'm excited.
I love that little showdown. It was just such an epic moment for, you know, you think you can go around and boss everybody around and be the bully. No.
It's
like,
a
I'm
wake-up
gonna put you in your
call.
place. Yeah.
It's a wake-up call. And it's like,
and I love
this
that
is
Bonnie said,
reality.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, because at first it was like, okay, is she just going crazy? But no, it was just, I'm tired. I'm sick of, like, seeing people. I'm sick of being this powerful person. But at the same time, she probably feels mentally weak.
Yeah, I liked how she said, this is not okay. I'm not okay. It's not okay that my best friend's trying to kill me. And
The shell of my best friend.
right.
Very
that was a
interesting.
great line. I'm so glad you brought that up. But if we check the scoreboards, it's Bonnie 2, Elena 0. So
Okay, so back to prom. She tells Damon that she feels nothing for Damon and that she was only feeling that because she was sired to him.
Wow. I felt like this episode was the most we've ever gotten straightforward from Damon and Elena, or Damon and Stefan actually confronting Elena and pulling out of them, telling her exactly what they felt, and Stefan especially saying, I think it's affecting me more than her, because he had to bring up those memories and put her back into that dance move that they did so long ago, and him being in that place.
Which was such an epic moment for Vampire Diaries, and they used Rihanna's Stay
Which I
song.
love.
Which, I did too. At first I was kind of like, really? Are they playing Rihanna right now? But that song really was probably for me the standout song of the episode.
Absolutely.
Just as far as everyone partnering up with the other person, and just the lyrics of what the song Stay is, and to see Stefan and, do you remember this, and touching her back, do you remember this with the fingers, and then dipping her down. How do you feel, do you feel, what do you think was going on in Elena's mind?
I think that she went there for a moment and she was really enjoying it. I mean, right up into that point where he's like, your heart doesn't remember this, and they go in for the kiss, and I was like, what's going to happen? And then she gets as close as you can possibly get to kiss him, and we're all in suspense hanging there.
Yep.
And she says, what heart? And I was just like, I was heartbroken. Like, amazing acting right there, because I really felt it.
I did too. And again, it was a moment where you saw her get scared. And as soon as she got scared, oh my God, I'm going back to a place I can feel. No, never mind, I'm done. What heart? It was so simple, so quick, and just a moment in this episode, and especially to this song. And then on the other flip side of that song, you get Bonnie going into the woods with Jeremy.
And asking, is this real? And he says, doesn't matter. And it's just like, she's also kind of in that same position of wanting what they had in the past.
Right. And again, fitting song for that situation too, because I want you to stay. And you never got to really say goodbye. And, it sucks because I feel like that is Bonnie's true love, true love.
I felt that way too.
And same for Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but think, because we continue to see Jeremy, and even after the house burned, I mean, I know his body's not there anymore, but really, how can we not have Jeremy back at this point? I mean, there's never been a real goodbye. He's going to have to come back in some ghost capacity for Bonnie to say her goodbye to him eventually.
Right.
Even if he's a ghost like Vicky was or something. But it's like, at some time, neither one of them, Jeremy, I guess, isn't over it probably either as a spirit, but it's like Bonnie, it looks like from the end credits, like, I don't know what she's going to do, but that scene,
I couldn't tell if she was being strong and going to confront him, or if she was weak, or if she, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't really tell from.
I feel like she's probably going to play him in some capacity.
That'll be interesting. So as they're dancing, he asks her all the questions. You miss me. You know you can have me back. You just need to use your magic, and then you can bring me back for good. Then I'm glad she realized it was Silas, pulled away from him. And then he keeps using this thing where he wants to help her. Keeps saying, I'm going to help you. No, I'm going to help you. And it's kind of like the devil, in the sense of, eat the apple. No, you're going to learn. And
I think to some capacity, he's right. She does need help, and hopefully there's somebody else other than him who can help her. But I really don't think it was because of him that she woke up on fire. I think it really was her magic burning inside of her, taking control of her, that she woke up on fire. I actually don't think it was Silas that did that.
Okay.
You obviously don't think it was him?
No, I'm not sure. I think it's weird that he knew that.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like we really know enough. So that's an interesting thing to think about. Especially, I mean, think of dreams. When you dream, it's all the stuff in your head. So imagine what's in Bonnie's that she's going to...
But what if you woke up from dreaming and you were actually like wherever you were just on your dream, or if you were like Bonnie
Burning
on fire?
on fire.
Like, can you imagine?
No, I couldn't either. So Bonnie runs back. She tells everyone about Silas, and now they're all freaking out. I don't know how. I mean, as a friend, when you guys all think that they would create something so that the other person would, everyone in their group knows who isn't Silas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
It's
a handshake or something simple.
Yes, that like a secret question they would ask them just to confirm.
Something.
Yeah, just like a little hello.
Because it's just like, now we all know what the issue is. Now we're just not dealing with the issue.
They need your help.
Yeah.
They need your oversight.
And we need your help. Please, guys, hit us up on iTunes. You guys can download, rate, subscribe, leave us a comment. We love all the love that you guys give us on AfterBuzz TV, on YouTube as well. But we're kind of in a little competition here and trying to get to #1. So
Yes.
download us on iTunes. And it's super easy now because now you can stream us live on your phones and on your iPad.
Thanks
So,
to Akamai's upgrade.
yes. So don't, I mean, now you ain't got to run home. You can just be on the go. Listen to us.
All
Watch
day.
us all day, every day.
Everywhere.
Yes. Okay. Let's get into my
Rebekah.
favorite part of the whole episode, Rebekah.
I really like her.
I do too.
At that point when Elena was like, you can't be yourself today because that means you won't get the cure, I was like, honestly, I feel like she's been the one who has been trying to be human, be herself through most of it, but she's put on this act of coldness like Elena's doing now for most of the time we've seen her when we haven't liked her. But her true emotions and who she really wants to be, I think, has always shined through a bit.
Agreed. But it's funny because I also saw a lot of comparisons to Rebekah to Klaus as well as Elena. It shows how young-minded Elena is and how young-minded Klaus is. Because I feel like Rebekah has done what they've already done, and now she's in a new stage in her life. And that's why I like her, because she has redeeming qualities about her. So with Elena, yeah, I mean, Rebekah can shut her emotions off and whatnot, but she's tired of it. And that's why at the beginning, Elijah has the cure, and he says, okay, who am I going to give it to? Klaus is just selfish and wants it.
So he doesn't have to be insane and driven crazy by Silas for the rest of eternity.
And then Rebekah wants it to become human and to feel what a real life is for.
And Klaus thinks that she's just doing this because she's bored and it's another one of her little games.
Which Elijah does too, and that's where the challenge comes in. You have to be human for a day.
And not compel anyone and not use any force.
So while she's at the prom, she walks up to Matt and asks Matt, hey, do you think I would make a good human?
And he's like, good.
Just
I think
real
good
hard, like-
is a hard word to live up to.
Yeah.
Honestly, no.
And I've never seen you do anything remotely good.
Yeah. That was some strong dialogue right there.
Now, it's funny because I feel like Matt's giving Rebekah what Caroline gives Klaus. And it's interesting to see who takes the advice better. Because if that was Klaus, he would get mad somehow and do something stupid. And I thought Rebekah was. After Matt said it and then Elena said it, when it came, she wanted to ask to be prom queen. And Elena choked April.
Right.
And then at the second time, when Elena killed April, she said, "You're never going to be good. You will never be prom queen. No one likes you." Like, at that point, a weak person, Rebekah, could have snapped.
Yes. That's
and
a great
I love
comparison.
that she didn't. Instead, she just sat on a chair and dropped all of her pride and begged Matt to dance with her.
To save her from a girl's worst dream. That moment made me love her. Isn't it crazy how that really doesn't happen in real life, but if people were just honest in their emotions, it might?
Well, that's really funny because when you watch on the show, and it's what the lesson is to Elena, Klaus, to almost all the characters, but it's just people. It's people in general. Everyone's so closed-minded and we can be so give our emotions on, phones and computers and things like that. It's such a new age. that it impresses me that I feel like Stefan knows this because he's lived life. I feel like Rebekah, they know this stuff because they've had to live through times where there wasn't that.
Right, and now we just hide behind our electronic masks.
Right, and you know, for someone like Elena, I felt like Stefan was always on the road of trying to teach her to open her mind more and open her emotions and feelings, and that made me really happy that Rebekah did that in the sense of, don't just put your wall up. Don't be so prideful. Like, realize that you've made mistakes, and it's okay because everyone's made mistakes. Own up to them, and prove that you can be a human. That you can, again, redeem yourself from the negatives. The fact that she saved April. You know, I know obviously that's cheating in the sense of her quest that she was supposed to fulfill, but I think that it's, you know, and then for Klaus to go there and, you know, rip on her.
Right. I really like the part where Matt asked her when he first came over, where's Bonnie? And she said, I don't know, probably in the bathroom with the rest of the girls. I thought it was nice to observe that she is in the middle of the prom alone. Most girls would be in the bathroom, either putting on makeup, but she is there because she wants to enjoy this experience and make the most of it. And a lot of girls, yeah, they're probably doing their makeup, trying to look beautiful, spending hours in the mirror, but she is just there trying to soak up every ounce of this prom as she can because she's so appreciative to be there. And I loved that. And I guess it's also a question this episode of, can people change? And I don't think that Rebekah necessarily has to change, but that there was always this like seed inside of her that is now being brought out of her. So I don't know if she's changing so much as this human quality is finally being able to be explored, but I feel like these qualities were always in her. I don't feel like she was always 200% bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if anyone's 200% bad, because even Klaus, you look at someone like Klaus, it's like, I feel like he does all these things because he was such an open, loving person that was hurt so bad that he's kind of has done what Elena's doing, put all of his feelings all the way inside of him and doesn't let anyone see them. So, I mean, so yeah, I see that with Rebekah, and again, the pride thing comes into play. She can put her pride down. Klaus hasn't yet.
I like that, putting your pride down.
Where do you stand as far as the second time when Matt, you know, came back to Rebekah and she said, why do you look up to me? And she said, you're beautifully human. Oh. That was such a like...
He's like, I'm just a busboy. And she's like, no, you're honest. People root for you to succeed. I loved that line.
You're everything that I want to be. Honest, loyal. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. And I also love the point where he turns and said, you know, maybe you wouldn't make such a bad human being. And she's like, are you offering me a job at the grill? You know I'd look cute in an apron. And he was like, maybe, or whatever. But that was just fantastic because it was also a wink back earlier in the episode when Elena was like, what can you do for me, Matt? Offer me a bus job at the grill. And the difference is Rebekah wants that bus job at the grill.
And that's why I really hope she doesn't go to the originals. I hope she stays on Vampire Diaries because I would love to see that happen.
Her character come full circle, yeah. That would be so satisfying for all the fans.
Damon has this jealousy of Stefan. Obviously, when they did the little dance thing, Damon watched him. He's really upset over it. Where do you think Damon's mind is at in this episode?
I mean, really that part where Silas was pretending to be each of the brothers to get to them.
Just a one-night stand.
Oh, that was awful. But it's like, really, Stefan does have, he's like, we have a past, Elena and I. We have all the laughs. We have all those real memories, and all you had was a one-night stand. And then Elena kind of even put salt in the wound, saying, I only had that one-night stand with you because I was sired to you. So it's like, but then when Elena was under Bonnie and like needed help, she asked Damon for help and not Stefan. So I'm really not sure what she's really feeling for who.
Right. It's funny because seeing Stefan and Elena dance tonight, made me look and say, wow, they have epic love.
Yeah. It reminded me of
No
the first
scene
season.
with Damon and Elena has given me that. Now, Damon and Elena have had some great scenes.
Lustful
Yes.
scenes.
Very lustful. And the reason why I feel we get so excited over it is because we're waiting for it. And that's what you do with lust. You wait, and then you get it, and it's great, and it's amazing, it's fireworks, but it doesn't have that pureness to it like tonight was. There was no sex, it was nothing, it was just a simple dance.
That seemed better than sex, that simple dance.
Just the hands in between each other, the touch on the back. It's epicness. That, to me, was epic.
I agree.
But then, like you said, when she called out for Damon, at the same time, I don't know if Elena feels ready for that type of love with Stefan, because Stefan is so in touch with himself. He's lived how many years, seen everything. That's a lot to live up to.
It is.
So I feel like Elena's looking at it from the sense of she can relate to Damon more because she's growing up, and Damon, as old as he is still growing up. So it's like, that's the homie, that's the friend, that's the person that can, I am going to call because they're going to understand me without judging. Not that Stefan really would judge, but in her mind, I feel like that's what Stefan does, which I understand because I've been in a relationship before where, not that you judge, but you always want to help the person out, and they start getting resentment because it's like, well, I can do this on my own. I don't need you to always do this. You aren't better than me. And it's like, well, no one's trying to say they're better, but, when you recognize a weak moment, it's like, but you help me out too. I don't think Elena realized what she does for Stefan.
Yeah,
I think in her
absolutely.
mind, she thinks Stefan does everything for me. What do I really give Stefan?
That is a great point, and so many of our relationships today are like that, because I hate when I feel like I'm being treated by someone who knows everything and has lived it all, and they're definitely the more mature person who perhaps I should be with, but I don't want to because they make me feel small. I want to be with someone who I can feel, either equal to or bigger, and that's someone who's more my age, like Damon and his immaturities. For Elena, that's just a fantastic point, Jesse.
And it comes down to the prideful thing. It's, do you let your pride down and say, you know what, this is an insecurity of mine, and this person has done so much for me. Why can't I just overlook that and realize what I can give too? It's almost like just standing up and putting yourself next to that person. And I feel like that's what Elena really needs to go through. And I feel like she's going to use Damon to realize that. And that's what's going to hurt the most out of everything. That's where my mind is really going with this story. I really feel like Damon is going to be the guinea pig to realize that she's really in love with Stefan.
And we all kind of do that in life. We all have that one relationship where we grow so much and we learn so much, but they're sort of just the guinea pig to get us to where we need to be.
Right. Now, in the sense of Damon helping Elena helping Damon out, I mean, do you see a flip side to that in the sense of who would you say would feel, inferior to who?
I feel like by the end of this, they're both going to be on the same page where they need to move on, Damon and Elena, because this was sort of just like this lustful thing that needed to happen, but yet they needed to grow together. And Elena definitely needed Damon to be understanding during this time. But at the end of the day, she will probably end up where she started with Stefan.
Yeah, that's what I see too. All right. So then we got this whole situation with Caroline and couple moments that I loved about Caroline tonight. Loved when she went to Klaus
Me
and
too.
asked for the dress. Reminded me of those moments, and I feel like it made Klaus so happy.
Oh, so happy. And you know what? He's dealing with so many serious family issues right now, being rejected by his entire family and the threat of being tortured for the rest of his life. And here he is digging up an old dress for sweet Caroline, and all he can do is laugh. We're laughing too because we know how serious his situation is and how she just needs a dress.
She wants to feel elegant.
Oh, but that was so amazing. Towards the end, I mean, I don't want to steal it, but
No,
when
go.
he just wanted to share, like, in helping her night be everything she wanted it to be.
Well, okay, there's that's like a double-edged sword because Tyler comes, which randomly, like, I guess that was sweet of Tyler because he probably was like, prom is the most important night to Caroline. Like, I'm going to make this happen. So that was a great moment. It was cool to see them dance together. I just kind of realized, like, I'm just over it. You're kind of stringing her along now.
Yep. But I really...
And I wish he gave her the dance.
Yeah.
And then ended it with her right there.
Yeah.
And I guess that is what he did, but I wish there was more honesty in saying that this is what it is, Caroline. Let her cry now and let her get the tears off. And then for him to walk out and Klaus is there.
But I really like that because Klaus was like, I mean, I'm over Tyler too. And I think that Caroline's getting over it too, to bring back that point later on when Caroline was talking to Stefan and he's like, how do you ever get over someone? And she says, I think you meet someone new and you move on without realizing it when you fall in love with them. And I think that's what's happening here with her and Tyler. She's, starting to get over him and not realizing she's actually falling for Klaus. Because then Klaus shows up at the door. And I really like that he's like, because we have a shared interest in making Caroline's night a dream come true, I'll give you 5 seconds.
Okay, but then see, when you look at that, it's like, I guess he's doing it like, a dog. Like, I'm going to piss on my property. Like, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Like, don't ever come back here because she's going to be mine. Like,
he has to have a little bit of pride in this, but he's softening up because of her. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Were you at one point were you ever kind of like, Tyler really isn't going to leave? Because he did 5, 4, 3, and Tyler was still standing there. And I was like, ooh, is he really going to like...
I would have liked to see that, I'll tell you that.
Him kill Tyler or rip his heart out?
I didn't want him to kill Tyler, but Tyler, like, stand up for yourself, man. Stand up for the woman you love. You're never going to end up with her because you can't be that man that Klaus is.
Yeah.
You can't. You haven't even tried.
And that's what Caroline wants. She wants someone who's going to hold her and make her seem like the #1 woman in the world and have learned, and they just their love is really epic, Caroline and Klaus, and it's just boiling up to something, and I hope they don't ruin it for us. I hope that we will get to see the fruition of it, but it was a really interesting way for them to have ended that situation with Tyler.
I enjoyed it.
So then we get Rebekah leaving prom. Bumps into Klaus.
After healing April with her blood.
Yep.
She broke her promise with Elijah, so she doesn't think she's going to get the cure.
Klaus makes her feel super bad for it. She's like, please don't tell Elijah. And on the mirrored side, Elijah's talking to Rebekah. And the thing that bothers me most about it is the fact that all these people get so easily swayed by Silas. It's like, you didn't...
he's running around here.
But not only that, but like, you can't tell that... Because after I watched the last episode last night, actually, and to see when he saw Elena and she was playing Catherine, it's like... Yeah, they look alike, but I mean, you can usually tell off somebody's energy and personality, like something's off or something's different.
Right.
And especially with Elijah and Rebekah, it's like, that is the world to your sister. And she said, guess it's time for me to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Just so not Rebekah. Like, I feel like Rebekah would be speechless, staring at the cure, like, thank you, Elijah, give him a hug and drink it right there.
Agreed.
So it's kind of like, really? But, and then to the fact of Klaus, like, just when you do something really good, you mess it up to work with Silas. That's how you took it, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he worked with Silas. But I really liked what he said to Rebekah at first when he was like, yes, you are going to tell Elijah what you did and that you didn't hold up your promise, because that's not what being human is. Being human is sitting there watching your friend die and being helpless in the situation and wondering where spirits go and not being able to help them. And you know what? I definitely wanted her to help April. And Matt was like, how is this even a question right now? You can be good this way. But like, what Klaus is saying is true. Being human is not being evil to help them.
Right.
To help the ones you love, but seeing them go and deal with it.
In our world, No, but in their world, I mean, look at Dr. Fell. She was using vampire blood as a human to save people.
Right.
You know, so it's like
So Rebekah could keep her stock on hand even as a human.
that, and even just looking at it like with Matt, it's like, what's the bigger play here? To play the role of human, which she will be able to once she has the cure. She won't be able to do that, or to show that, yeah, you can be a good person.
Right.
You know, and it's not just helping April out, it's so much more. It's rewriting your past and doing something
Unselfishly.
unselfish, doing something for Matt even too. It's just
yeah.
like,
I want them to be
it was the
together.
bigger play.
I agree.
So yes, I do agree with what Klaus said, because that is true. But I just, it bothered me how harsh he was with her.
Yeah,
And then
no,
the fact that
absolutely.
as I'm saying this to you, you're selling out your sister right now.
Yeah. He needs a little bit more Caroline in his life.
Yeah. So Rebekah calls Elijah, lets him know. So that's going to be really interesting to see where
Where they take
this
that.
is going to go. And then we get the whole Bonnie thing. Bonnie is freaking out at the prom. Elena tried to kill her twice. And then just the when Elena like bites into her neck. Now we really see how powerful Bonnie is. Like, you can't touch this.
Yeah. Dun.
The skin healed on its own. It was like poison to
crazy.
Elena. That was a really cool scene because it was so.
Unexpected, really.
Yeah, it was just so.
I was worried for Bonnie when Elena was trying to kill her. I was a little bit.
And I've just been so disappointed with Bonnie's magic, just in the show in general.
Yeah.
But I kind of see where we're doing it. It's really like we're going on the ride with Bonnie. We're building it up. You know, I compare it to Buffy, where Willow, you know, she had her stages, but it was more fun. It was more magical. It was like moving cups and things like that. With Bonnie, it's really the mental state.
Yeah.
And that's something different that I feel like we haven't really seen on a show like this before.
Agreed.
Bonnie freaks out again, walks away from it all, and then we see her in the cave with Silas.
Yeah.
We don't really know what she's doing, what her plan is.
It wasn't clear.
And then what did you get from Silas? Because his story came down to,
Katsia.
and he wanted to die because
Yeah,
his
he just
curse was
wants
that no one would ever love him again.
Because of what Katsia did to his face.
Right.
And I guess he just wants to die so he can be with his family.
Right. And it was interesting because I guess what he's doing is he's going to torture everyone until he's not tortured anymore.
Right.
Not realizing that the bigger play is, well, you're going to destroy the world just so you're not tortured.
Which is what Klaus wants to do, too. Klaus and Silas have a few things in common.
Yeah. So I don't know. Where do you? Well, I guess we'll get into predictions as far as that. And the other prediction goes into Klaus goes home, and Catherine just happened to leave a letter.
Oh, which will send him to New Orleans because there is a witch. I wrote her name down. It was like Anne, somebody who has something that'll rattle him so big that he will stop chasing Katerina. Hate and love Katerina.
Great moment. And then flip side of that was Klaus telling Elijah, like, I'm never going to stop chasing her. I'm going to chase her with all my heart. And then for Elijah to say, give him a hug and kind of be like,
You live a
You're
very
sad.
shallow life.
Yeah.
Hollow, I think he said.
and that
Hollow life.
really affected him.
It did.
So I have no idea where we're going with this whole story.
Elijah kind of wanted to be a human for a second there, too. He's like, can't you allow me the ability to love in my first time in my life?
Yeah.
Everyone wants the love.
Everyone wants it. And we're going to head into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so where do you think Bonnie's going with this? What do you think?
I
She's
think
going to
she's-
work with him?
I think
The
she
gates are
will.
gonna open?
I think she will, but I think she has a bigger plan, to make sure that the rest of the world isn't affected. But she definitely is going to help Silas in some capacity so we can get rid of him, so we can end this season. And we can't open the gates of hell, so there's definitely going to be one more trick that we don't know about that Bonnie has up her sleeve.
And that's really interesting because I almost don't want to give Bonnie all that credit. The only reason I will is because I usually feel like these shows, they always kind of give you clues as to what the next setup is. And with Bonnie, for Damon and Stefan to say, I don't think she's going to be controlled by Silas anymore. I think she can handle herself, after watching her be so powerful.
They prepped us for that.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what she's going to do with Silas, because I feel like Silas kind of opened up and really showed himself, and so maybe he's not as bad of a guy as we think.
Was it me, or did he look like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
A little. It's funny, someone said that he looked like one of the old vampires off of Buffy as well. So,
very funny.
So it'll be really interesting to see what he really looks like as well.
Can't be so bad. And hey, maybe Bonnie will fall in love with him, and then his curse will be over.
Not happen.
Just kidding. He just wants some love, though.
All you need is love.
He mentioned no one would fall in love with him, so maybe his face isn't so bad.
Maybe he will be the one that helps Bonnie out, and they fall. Yeah, there you go. All right. And then Catherine is sending. Next week we're getting the originals.
It looks
pilot
so
episode.
exciting. I actually was excited to see it. Now I'm in love with Klaus.
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited for next week. I think the originals is going to offer something that Vampire Diaries doesn't.
I agree.
I think it's going to be a little more rebel.
I think
really
you're right. Me too.
And we hope you guys come join us again next week here at AfterBuzz TV. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also make sure you guys watch us on your phones and iPads. We're now streaming on iPhones or just any phone. And iPads.
Yeah.
You can follow me at DJ Jesse J on Twitter.
You can follow me at Cinematic Escape, or you can bing my blog, Cinematic Escape.
Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.
See ya.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.